Hey, welcome. Think about your digital life for a second. All those photos, your documents, your favorite movies. We're creating and downloading so much stuff every single day. But have you ever really stopped to wonder where it all goes? Well, today we're going to find out.
Right? It seems like such a simple question, but the answer takes us on this fascinating journey from spinning magnetic disks all the way to silent microchips and these just massive server farms. So in this explainer, we're going to break down the incredible tech that literally holds our digital lives together.
All right, first things first, we've got to clear something up that trips a lot of people up. You hear the words memory and storage thrown around all the time, sometimes like they're the same thing. They're not. In the computer world, they are totally different. The best way to think about it, a workbench and a filing cabinet.
Okay, this analogy is just perfect. Seriously, your computer's memory, that's RAM, it's your workbench. It's the space where you've got everything you're currently working on laid out. It's super fast, right at your fingertips. But here's the catch, it's volatile. What's that mean? Well, pull the plug and poof, the workbench is wiped clean. Now storage, that's your trusty filing cabinet. It's for the long haul. It might take a second longer to find that old file, but it's non-volatile, which means everything is safe and sound, even with the power off.
So let's start by looking inside that classic filing cabinet, the hard disk drive, or the HDD. For decades, this thing was the absolute backbone of computing. And honestly, it's a jaw-dropping piece of mechanical engineering.
Calling it a symphony is no joke. Inside that little metal box, you've got a whole orchestra of tiny, precise parts all working together at incredible speeds just to pull up that one file you're looking for. It's wild.
So who are the main players in this symphony? Well, you've got these shiny magnetic platters. Think of them like tiny, super fast records. The spindle is the motor that spins them, and we're talking thousands of times a minute. Then there's the actuator arm, which zips back and forth across those platters. And right at the tip of that arm, you have the read-write heads. That's where the real magic happens, as they magnetically paint your data on the platters as ones and zeros. So picture this, you double-click a file. Instantly, those platters spin up to speed, the arm swings into the exact right position with microscopic precision, and the head literally flies just nanometers above the surface. We're talking a space thinner than a human hair. And it does all that just to detect the tiny magnetic charges that make up your file. And this all happens in the blink of an eye. It really is a marvel.
But as amazing as HDDs are, all those moving parts have their limits. Speed, durability. And that's what paved the way for the next massive leap in storage, the solid-state drive, or SSD. And folks, this was a complete game changer.
The absolute defining feature of an SSD, the thing you have to remember, is that it has zero moving parts, none. Instead of all those spinning platters and flying arms, an SSD is, well, it's solid. It uses something called flash memory, kind of like what's in a USB drive, but way, way faster and more reliable, to store all your data electronically.
And when you put them head-to-head like this, you can see why SSDs totally changed modern computing. Because they're electronic, they are just so much faster. We're talking about your computer booting up in seconds, apps opening in a snap, and since there are no moving parts, you could drop your laptop and the drive is way more likely to survive. Plus, they use less power and they're completely silent. Now, the big trade-off for a long time has been price. HDDs still give you more bang for your buck in terms of sheer space. But that gap, it's getting smaller and smaller every single year.
Okay, so HDDs and SSDs are the stars of the show inside your computer, for sure. But the storage universe is way, way bigger than that. Let's do a quick tour of some of the other key players you've definitely run into. First up, let's talk about the deep, deep archive. It's called tertiary storage, and it is all about storing just ridiculous amounts of data for a very long time and doing it as cheaply as possible. You can think of it as the cold storage of the data world. You don't need to get to it in a hurry, but you absolutely need to know it's safe. Two classic examples here, magnetic tape and optical disks. And you might not believe this, but magnetic tape is still an absolute powerhouse for huge data archives. I mean, for huge companies that need to back up petabytes of data, tape is incredibly cheap, it's stable for decades, and it's immune to cyber attacks in a way that online systems just aren't. And of course, we all remember CDs, DVDs, Blu-rays. They use a laser to read these tiny physical bits and lands on a shiny disk.
And then you've got the stuff we all use every single day. USB flash drives, those little memory cards, SD, micro SD. These are the real workhorses of portable data. They put all the power of flash memory right into a tiny, convenient package so we can move files around or add storage to our cameras and phones. Easy.
And finally, we get to the most abstract kind of storage, the cloud. When you save something to the cloud, you're not really putting it on your device. You're sending it over the internet to be stored on huge hard drives and SSDs inside a giant data center somewhere. The killer feature? Accessibility. Your files are just there, anywhere you have an internet connection on any device.
Phew! Okay, so we've covered mechanical drives, solid-state drives, tapes, the cloud, a whole bunch of stuff. So what does this actually mean for you when you're trying to decide where to keep all your important data?
It really all boils down to this. There is no single best type of storage. Every single choice is a trade-off. It's a balance. Are you looking for lightning speed for your operating system? Or do you need just massive capacity for your movie collection for as cheap as possible? The right choice always depends on what you care about most for that specific job.
And that's exactly why most of us don't just pick one. A modern digital life is a hybrid. It's a mix and match system. You probably have a super fast SSD for your operating system and your main apps, a big old HDD for your photo archive, cloud storage for the documents you need to share, and a USB drive in your pocket for moving stuff around. It's all about using the right tool for the right job.
And that kind of leads us to the big final question. From spinning platters to flash memory, storage tech has evolved at this absolutely breathtaking speed. And as we keep creating more and more data, truly exponential amounts, the demand for faster, bigger, and tougher storage is only going to get more intense. So, what do you think is coming next? Thanks for watching.